She called you, yes.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, I'll start all over again. Good evening, everyone. We didn't have a meeting on September the 22nd, which would have been our regular meeting because we didn't know how we were going to have a meeting. For that particular meeting, there had been on the full board public hearing, 45 new applications, 67 renewals. And I had sent out a long dissertation about how are we going to do this? How are applicants supposed to post their notices? How's the public supposed to know how to get into a virtual meeting? How are we supposed to sit as a panel and interview the applicants? How are we all sitting at home supposed to get all the applications and paperwork to review without blowing up our own home printers, printing them out? So we didn't get the 22nd. So then we had another public meeting of the community board, quote unquote, public hearing, in which there were then 6 new licenses and 6 renewals. And so this would be the meeting, if we were having a real meeting, would be the one where we would consider those and report them to the regular committee. And now we have a notice for the next public hearing, which has 14 new and 15 renewals on it. But on all of those, there's supposed to be notice to the public that there's a new application being made. The public has to have an opportunity to show up at a meeting and talk about it. I don't know how that notice could be given. And then the big question I've had all along since the pause started in the middle of March is everything is on pause. What does the State Liquor Authority expect community boards to be doing regarding applications and renewals? Are we still supposed to be making recommendations, or is everything on hold? Or are licenses being temporarily extended until the pause is lifted? And if we never can go back to having actual meetings, how are we going to do the reviews? Or should we set up meetings at swinging 60s and have people standing outside like they're at the polling place 6 feet apart and come in application by application and then come before us and we all sit at a 18-foot long table 6 feet apart? So we asked Mr. Smith to come because perhaps he can tell us what the State Liquor Authority is looking to from community boards, because I didn't get anybody input on what they heard maybe other community boards were doing. So perhaps if the SLA doesn't expect anything from us, then we don't have to have meetings at all. If the SLA is expecting something from us, then we have to figure out how we're going to do that. So Mr. Smith, can you share with us what the SLA expects from the community boards during this
Sure, absolutely.
period of time?
And thank you for inviting me to this panel. And I encourage these conversations, continuing the conversation about particularly during COVID. So we have an advisory, and after this panelist call, I'm on the call. I have an old school computer, unfortunately. I would love to zoom in, but I will send some guidances in one particular advisory that our Secretary of the Authority had and posted, essentially about the service of 30-day notifications to the community board, right? So yes, you're still our partners in this process for recommendations for whether it's a new applicant or a renewal applicant. One of the things that we are allowing community boards to do, but more importantly, to continue the conversation about the new applications that go before you board and the renewal applicants, is via email. Now, it's up to you guys, for example, what email you'd want to choose. And what we would require for them to notify you folks properly and for us to allow to accept the new application and the renewal application is that you have an email that you use that you're going to designate for the submission of a 30-day advance notification. So we still require them to use our form. We are asking them to fill that out, attach it in a PDF, for example, send that in an email to you folks, and then we would accept it if the applicant receives a response from your community board, accepting the notification of the intent thereof, right? The new application submission or the renewal.
Right. We've been getting those, but it's what happens after that.
Okay. So as you know, the statutory requirement is an applicant to notify. They do not need to participate in the process. But as you know, and we strongly encourage them to do, is to participate in your process. Because if you guys give a negative resolution, a new application disapproval from your community board, not only is that going to be reviewed on the local level, it's going to be reviewed by the members of the authority, our 2 commissioners and our chairman. So I can't answer the question as to how you're going to have your new applicants in particular participate with your community board process, but all I could extend to you, at least I could extend you, is my direct phone number. Always get me on a call, or an email, or any guidance or feedback that you need from me. I just want to stop there because I want to go back and forth to Q&A. It's a new time for us too. You know, on March 15th, we changed the way we're doing business, essentially.
But, you know, we all come to this committee from, you know, not knowing what's going on. We just sort of move into it and do what we're doing. So our process of hosting at a public meeting of the community board, and then having a committee meeting and reviewing it, and then making a recommendation back to the full board has been going on since time began.
Agreed.
But it doesn't sound like that's something you guys have required. It's something that we as a board developed, and every board's doing it differently.
I agree with that. And again, I just want to reiterate the message relating to the statute, right? Because as the enforcement arm of state government when it comes down to COVID, but particularly about the new applications, the prereq is you have to notify your community board properly, wait the 30-day window, submit application to the liquor authority. When any John Q. Public will call me, is that all I need to do? I say, yeah, by the law, the only thing you need to do is notify your community board, wait 30 days, submit the application to the liquor authority, whether that's a new application or renewal. However, I always encourage them to participate in your processes because you guys are the stakeholders in the community, you know, the ears to the ground. You know, if this 123 Main Street was a problematic location and you know your constituents are going to be objecting to the new submission or a new liquor license, or you know that, you know, your community members are okay with a new pop-up restaurant. Go ahead.
Something happened.
Hello? Oh, no.
We're here.
So,
So when you send things back to the board office that says we haven't heard from you on this applicant, where does that come from?
Okay, so as I just noted, the only prerequisite is that they notify you. You do not need to provide us any recommendations, whether that's no objection, approval, or strongly against. We give you leave, though, to do any of the above. So when we give you a follow-up, maybe via email or a fax, we're just doing a professional courtesy. We're just doing a friendly follow-up. If you have had any recommendations, just send it to us. We're just doing that as a courtesy, reaching out to your board. You don't need to participate, meaning, you know, have a meeting of your subcommittee and then have a meeting of your full board, have a recommendation. But usually that happens, right? I mean, particularly to your contested applicants. You definitely vet them through your process. All I'm saying to you is, it's up to you. We're giving you the opportunity to do essentially with respect whatever you want to do, but you could not tell us anything. You could say, I'm strongly against, I'm strongly for, or we're just not having any position. You know, we're just hands off. But the only thing required.
So we could not do anything and you would just go.
We would go business as usual, but the assumption would be that if you didn't send us any recommendations, whether for or against, and then the license was issued, you know, our metric now is 22 to 26 weeks. Our metric is, if we issue the license, the reason why we do the follow-up, the friendly follow-up, is to say, hey, you know, do you have any position on this? Because if it was down the pike, right, that you say, how did you issue this liquor license without our input? You know, we have evidentiary email to say, well, look, community board, I'm speaking in layperson terms. Look, guys, we gave you a follow-up. You didn't provide us any recommendation. As a result, we issued the license. But again, going in a more favorable light, you don't need to, as you're noting earlier in the conversation before this meeting was recorded, you're indicating, you know, the frustration. We have to get all these moving parts together to have a vote when we don't necessarily need to. So maybe my recommendation is, if you have a problematic location that's currently licensed, or you have an application going before the board that's new from a priorly bad location, or maybe you have concerns about the character and fitness of the applicant, do the due diligence and then send us a recommendation. But if you just say, you know what, economic development purposes, I like this location, you can speak informally between you members, we don't need to have a meeting about this, right? Because we like the application coming in, you could just leave it at that.
But without the ability to do a public hearing, you know, we're only 13 of us that are, you know, wandering around in a an area that's got, like I said, we're up to like 200 liquor licenses in a period when
So-
everything is closed.
Right.
And
I'm just
then
indicating that, I'm saying there's a lot, pardon me to interrupt, but there's, your partners in the process are fellow community boards. As a administrative agency like the Liquor Authority, we're determined, we have figured out how to do our 500 foot hearings. As you'll note, our full board meetings are all over. Now it's YouTube Live. My advice perhaps is consult with other neighboring community boards, how they set up their meetings, whether Zoom or Microsoft Teams. I can't give you advice on that, but I mean, I know other community boards are doing that.
well, I guess it'd be nice if our community board spoke to the other community boards, but that's not your problem.
I have a conduit. You're familiar with Ariel, the Nightlife Association. Her and I have a great
We've
working
invited her
relationship.
to 3 meetings of our community board, and she's never shown up.
I can't comment on that topic. I wouldn't necessarily know that, sir. I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm just saying I could find a resource. And again, I do a lot of work with all the community boards. After this conversation on this panel, I could kind of, organically think in my, my small little apartment where I'm making this conference call from, and think about things and how maybe perhaps I could help you, at least maybe give you some type of advice. Look at some of my emails from other community board members and how they're doing it, and maybe I could pass it along, to say the least.
So anyway, the number of liquor licenses that we had, how many of you have gone ahead and done so we don't have to think about them again? And when the neighbors call and complain, we can just say, call your state assemblyman.
Well, elected officials are folks who represent constituents in the district. Again, as someone working at the Liquor Authority and Public
No, there was a
Information
question.
Office,
There was a question at the beginning of that is, how do we know which ones you've already acted on? So they're like a moot point right now.
Okay.
How would we
I
know
could run
that?
a list. Well, there's one way to find out, and it's using one of our databases that we have on our website. We could run it by zip code, for example. I'd be more than happy to run a list of all those who've been submitted recently and also issued. That's something that I could easily do. And then, so that's just I could kind of like put it this way. Let me put you in the position to do this as well. I can ask for your zip codes within your community board. I'll run a list in today's moment in sand right here. I'll see which ones are pending. I'll see which ones have been issued or are active. And then I'll definitely give you a 411 just in a brief email, how you and your board members could run that in real time at any point in time and access it directly our database. It's
If
one
I
of
was
these
getting a
arcane-
state pension, I'd have the time to do that, unfortunately.
Okay, to supplement what you're saying, you have that notification of new applicants. Then the new people that are going for a liquor license. Additionally, I could provide our timeframes. Unless it's an existing business and they're going to try to operate on a temporary permit, it's 22 weeks to 26 weeks from the submission to determination. So you have some leave. It's not like we're able to issue a license within 12 weeks. We'd love to. We're incapable of the sheer economic development of New York State. Everyone is trying to open up an establishment. We encourage that, but again, it's slowed down our review process times.
Well, if we can figure out what's, because we didn't start acting up again until September. And that was a whole pile up of stuff, which I said that was like 65 new and 40 something.
I'm not missing your target. I trust me, and I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying. When everyone went on pause, when everyone was like essentially go home and then figure out how to way to work from home, starting in March, and now we're in October, almost November. As a board, I think at least you want a glimpse or a screenshot of who has been issued in this time and who is pending. I think that's a fair question. That's a fair question. I'm going to get that for you tomorrow. How about that?
So the zip codes as I know them for our board, and Marie, yell at me if they're not right. Marie?
Yeah, I'm going to type these down while you're saying them. So
I'm here. I'm listening.
I've got 11206.
Okay, Roger.
11211.
Okay.
11222. 11237.
Okay.
And 11249. That's what I have. I don't know if that's Marie. Are there other ones?
No, I believe that's all of them. The only things we don't, some of them we
Can I
don't
just run them
take
back to you
totally
guys real
take
quick,
in.
just so I have them?
Go ahead.
So I have 11206, 11211, 11122.
No. 11222.
Oh, misspoke. That was my dyslexia.
Oh.
Okay. And then 111-11137. Is that another
No,
one?
11222, 11237,
Aha. Thank
and
you. Sorry, you're just too quick.
11249.
Roger. Got all of them. Okay.
They all
good.
start with 112.
Already. Yep, I see. Yep, I see that Brooklyn one. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, we'll be. I'll have a nice list for you guys tomorrow. And again, just to recap real quick, all the current pending, all the current active from, let's just say March 1 to present. October 28th will be tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
And then Marie was able to find out all the people you got suspensions for COVID things.
Oh yeah.
But that was, I don't know what date, Marie, you did that. What date did you do that, Marie?
I'm not quite sure. It wasn't like yesterday.
We
It
have
probably was a couple 2 weeks ago.
I got one a little bit more updated. We try to do it weekly, as you'll note on the on social media purposes as well as on our website. We work in concert with the governor's press release for the updated summary suspensions for those in your district and throughout all the other community boards.
Yeah, well, Marie printed one and then we picked it out by zip codes, I think, ourselves or something. I don't know how she did that. How did you do that, Marie?
I believe I probably went on SLA's website and then did it that way.
Oh, you were able to highlight them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because but then if we had real life people coming to us, we could talk to them about if they straighten out what they did wrong that led to the suspension. But I don't know how we're going to get real life people in front of us. That's what we get to discuss amongst ourselves. All right. So, Mr. Smith, you're going to see if you can get those pending.
Please call me Mike. Call me Mike.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you all the currently in your district within those zip codes provided, the pending on-premises applications that are pending. Furthermore, in a separate Excel spreadsheet, all those active licenses within those zip codes provided.
Okay. And then did you have a list of the suspensions for those zip codes or not?
Yes, I do. I'll provide that, and I'll also provide just a quick memo if you like, and I'd like to, just so we have it for memorialization of how to run that list, what I'm going to do tomorrow. So kind of like while I'm doing it, and again, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to make it very clear and concise. And so, yeah, so if you're like, you have a hunch that these folks notified you, and maybe they didn't notify you appropriately. And now let me just go on this tangent real quick. We've had issues where your neighboring community board, right? Like, let's just say it's right on the line. Like BK2 is right next to BK1 for this conversation. You'll have folks notifying BK2, even though they know wholeheartedly, again, they're in BK1. So you'd be able to analyze that pending application list, be like, these guys inappropriately notified the wrong community board, and then based on that, we would actually disapprove their application. I just wanted to kind of get that out there. So that's for another reason why you'll get to look at the list and see, all right, these guys all notified us.
All right.
Or maybe they didn't notify you appropriately, and maybe we're going to have a further conversation about a couple of possible bad actors that, forged documents. I don't know. I'm not trying to get off any tangents here, but it'll be important, and I'll be happy to send that list to you tomorrow.
Great. So we have to work out amongst ourselves how we really want to deal with all of this. So, okay. Any questions from anybody else on the committee?
Tom, I have a question.
For for Mike.
Tom, may I?
For Mike, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I put to Mike and to you because, CB1 has a stipulation, and usually on the stipulation, we ask the applicant to cut the hours. For example, the state allows to open the premises to 4 o'clock. So when we see that is busy, really busy street, or too many restaurants or bars around, we try to keep the hours to open at least as possible to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So in this case, we're not going to have a control over that. So that means all the applicants going to have the hours of operation until 4 o'clock, 4 a.m.
Great question. And I have a solution, and we currently do this, and I think you're going to be happy with my response. Let's just take COVID out of the equation real quick. I'm an applicant, Mike's Bar and Grill. I notify your community board and do that notification. You ask me to go before your board. and I say, you know what? I don't want to go before your board because all I have to do is notify you folks. And I'm going from 4 a.m. Now, guys, if you write a negative resolution, a disapproval of the application, as I was noting in the beginning of the conversation, it won't only be reviewed locally, it'll go before our chairman. And so our chairman or Q commissioner is going to write that negative, read that document you provide us, that community board disapproval. Whereas, hey, we feel comfortable with these folks closing at, let's just say 1 a.m. And then they could come back to us in 6 months in a year, and maybe we'll consider them doing 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. But at this moment, to answer your question, sir, if they say, I want to do 4, you say no, you write us a community board negative resolution. It's going to go before the board. We're going to limit the hours, and we're actually going to side with you. Unless there's a real circumstance where they articulate to us the reasons why they think is a benefit to be open to a certain period of time. I've run all these numbers many times. I've been in the liquor for almost 15 years. So, I mean, I have a little experience with the community boards. We side with you about 95% of the time on all applications relating to a new submission, particularly going until 4 a.m.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
We
Welcome,
just
sir.
have
Thank
to
you for the
figure out
question.
how we're going to make that determination.
Yeah, yeah.
Because,
Maybe a group text or something.
Because, so you don't, the notification that you're talking about is when they have to post on their site about applying for a liquor license.
Let me say.
Is that from
So-
you guys or is that from us?
You may have, a lot of community boards do have their own worksheet, the 21 questions they ask you, the applicant. We have that standardized notice form, the 30-day advance notification form, which is our, what, go ahead.
No, we've been operating with this that bars have to post a notice on the front of their location advising that they're going to be applying for a liquor license and will be coming before the community board on XYZ date. When I lived in LA, the state of California required a 8x4 sign on the front of their building that said they were going for an application. But that was required by the liquor authority, not there were no community boards in LA until they formed neighborhood councils. So
Okay.
does the state of New York Liquor Authority require some kind of official throughout the state, some sign on the window that says we're applying for a liquor license from the state in 30 days, do X or not?
Well, that's the thing. So liquor stores are required to post conspicuously on their front, metal drop-down thing or their front window. The on-premises, the bar, restaurant, tavern, nightclub, dance club folks need to notify them, their municipality in this instance, and their community board. So they don't necessarily need to put something on the window to, notify, the people walking down the block. And again, let's just say prior to COVID, I can imagine your community board did was post upcoming hearings, right? So we're gonna interrogate this new guy coming before the board, right? And you'd post that on your web. I'm just being anecdotal, but you post that on your website, and then the folks in your community who are wanting to know would go on your website, right? Like, oh, Mike's Bar and Grill is going before the board, the subcommittee tonight at 6:30, and then your community residents would come and participate. Or now, as you're noting, we're gonna have to figure out a way to do internally. If they see that on our website, how do they tell us that they're happy about this new application coming in or against it? So yeah. And another thing I'm doing while I'm chatting with you guys is I'm compiling a couple things. And Maria, I'm going to send this to you after this conversation about a few different things relating to renewal applicants, for example, who don't have the cash, but you like them as well. And we're giving some leave. We're extending, the licensing fee amount to delay it. We're deferring that payment. And also, there's something that we did years ago, actually, when I came on board in 2006 with the Liquor Authority. It's called the Community Board Q&A, Community Board Questions and Answers. And it's something that we give internally and externally to folks who want to take a look at it. And I think, believe it or not, I'm not kidding, it can be very informative. And I'm going to send this to Maria after this conversation, just to kind of give the 411 about what the Community Board does and what we, require of them. And it's more what we want you to participate in. We don't really require you to do much. It's just that we're here when you want to tell us you don't like a place, essentially, in the shorthand at least.
Okay. But we have to know and this is just, it's not for you to fix. It's something, I don't know how we fix this down the road. But so there's an empty storefront, and they send a notice to the community board with 30 days, and it goes on our public meeting list on our webpage. The people on that block might be 100 years old and don't even know how to look at a web page. And there's no requirement that anything be posted for human beings who walk around the street in a walker looking at signs. They wouldn't know a bar was opening until the bar had already got its license and it was open. Right?
That's a valid point. I'm sympathetic to that concern.
I'm going for those 4x8 signs on the buildings now. I'm gonna like change the board rules.
No, but hey, let me help you. Let me put you in a position to help yourself. And I say this all the most kind words I can. How about this? You could say to each applicant that you get the notification. You say to that applicant, I am going to protest your application and submit that application submit that memo to the liquor authority in protest unless you post a 5x10 sign on your front building notifying, the hardworking Americans that happen to be in their 80s, 90s, and 100s, right? So that's something you could do internally. No, but you can do that internally.
That's what we do. But in COVID, there's no place for those people to go who read that sign right now.
So you're saying that your argument's moot because no one's walking anyway.
Right.
No, I'm just teasing you. Come on.
But you don't have the state doesn't have that requirement.
No, the requirement is only to notify our partners in this process, which is the municipality, which is your community board, CB Brooklyn 1.
Okay. All right. And since we're not really I got it. All right. Any other questions from the committee?
Yes, I have one question for Mike, but just to piggyback on something you said, when they get in touch with the community board, they are required to follow our rules. So we could technically reject them based on them not following some of our rules that we asked them to do, like posting, for example. So when you got the no,
I can't underline that enough. If they don't want to participate with you folks, take that as an insult and say, you know what, we're now gonna have a negative resolution. You're not going to be reviewed locally. You're going to be reviewed by the commissioners and the chairman, and they may be more strict on you than we are trying to be. Meaning like no DJ, no bottle service, open until only 1 o'clock, no karaoke, yada, yada, yada. Whatever you guys like. And again, a lot of different community boards have different issues, right? So, I mean, again, you should strongly, how do you put it this way, strongly encourage them to participate in your process. Otherwise, you're going to go before the full board members of the liquor authority. They more times than not, unless we're being unreasonable, you guys are not. You guys are usually very reasonable. I say all the time reasonable. They're going to limit your hours of operation. So you might as well get ahead of it and appease the community, particularly the community board, because we represent the community.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So then we have to meet amongst ourselves and figure out how we're going to deal with this. Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Anything else from you guys?
Anybody else?
There's some questions from the public in the chat. Tom.
Well, can you read them? Because I have no idea how to do that.
Well, I tried to ask her to state the question, but it's not allowing me to send the message.
Where are you seeing these
Marie
things?
has to do it, or she can unmute her. I don't know.
Where are you seeing the questions?
It's in the Q&A.
Because all I'm seeing
chat.
is your finger on the screen right now.
Well, I'm not pointing to anything. I'm just,
Where is a Q&A? I hate, where does,
Tom,
down there. I found it, there it is.
Yes, Tom, someone had asked about where they could find that information that Mike was talking about, and I just sent her back that it's on the website for the SLA, New York State Liquor Authority.
Yes, it is.
It's a public
for people in
search.
the audience as well. Marie, and I was noting after this conversation, I'm going to send you a lot of good information, one that we have on our website, and also that's kind of buried within the website. But it's very informative to members of the community, applicants or licensees who are on this call, and also you guys as well. I think you'll be quite pleased. We put a lot of hard work in at figuring out every single question someone would ask us, and that's what we really developed our guidances on the website, whether it's outside dining, 25% capacity inside in the 5 boroughs, or those who are on the hot zones, right? The yellow, the orange, and the red. So yeah, it's on our website, but also Maria, I'll send you some documentation that you could disperse to your constituents as well.
Now, there was a hand raised. I don't know if she still wants a hand raised. And then there's Sante Miceli. Do you want to ask them the questions to speak?
Well,
I may be
Santa's
able to do
question
that.
is about there's situations where neighborhood organizations like our block association have created dedicated agreements with the applicants. And those agreements, so it's like block associations work out agreements with new applicants, and they come to our meeting, and we don't make them agree to it. The neighborhood association works it out with them, and it gets attached to their application. How does the SLA deal with those kind of agreements?
Excellent question. I call it insta binding. So if you have at any point in time, let's just say the guy or gal with the business is already licensed, and they come before your board, and you say, I want you to stipulate to close at 1 a.m. And they were, let's just say, approved till 3 a.m. the day before. You send us that notarized stipulation agreement that the applicant or the licensee came to an agreement with your community board, instantly binding. On the next renewal, it will reflect on the next license certificate, it'll reflect on that license. Until then, internally, they know, and you know, and we know they're supposed to close at 1 a.m. So at any point in time, there's a stipulation agreement between a licensee, applicant, and the community board, notarized, I would like to say, send to the liquor authority, instantly bound now to their license.
Well, this was with not the community board, but with like a block association.
I would have to get back to you on that. That's a great question. I think you'd have to work in concert with that civic or block association to make sure you're all on the same page. But again, that's something TBT for me to get back to you on. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Marie, can you unmute the Southside Homeowners Association representative? She keeps
All
asking.
right, so, but let's time it, please. Because we need to get to a discussion about what we're going to do.
Hi, this question, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll keep it to under 2 minutes. This question is for Michael Smith. I want to
Identify yourself, ma'am.
This is the Southside Homeowners Association.
Yeah, but what's your name?
My name is Priscilla.
Okay.
I'm with the Southside Homeowners Association. I'm on the board of directors. I'm calling because, hi, Michael. I don't want to take up a lot of the time. I understand there's a lot to get through. We have a lot of homeowners that have complained to us within the community about certain bad actors that are looking to get their license renewed. And we wanted to understand, I took down a lot of notes of what you were saying earlier. What is the general public's ability to interact with the community board and with the state liquor license on informing them of such situations where they currently don't have a proper license to be conducting business in a specific way, but they have been doing so for many years. And we have videotape and photography to provide that. Where do we send that to with our letter of complaint?
Yes, you could send it to if your stakeholders want to be anonymous about this, there is a complaint online form on our website. If you went to our website just for this conversation, you take your cursor over to enforcement online complaint form. You could submit that anonymously. Also, there is an email, and I'll look for that, and I'll send it to Marie to submit complaints to us. And I think it is enforcement@sla.ny.gov. But in particular, I want to get the exact email address because there's one for Zone 1. Zone 1 is New York City and Long Island. So yes, there is an email that any John Q. Public could send a note to us via email, bringing to our attention some indiscrepancies with their liquor license. They're operating outside their method of operation. So there's two things, let's recap. Your online complaint form, and then also there's an email address that we have designated for folks to submit complaints to us.
Perfect. And the person I should get in touch with, you said, was Marie. And what is?
I was just saying she's one of the community board members on this panelist call here. I was just saying I was going to send to Marie the exact email address. But again, what you could send is enforcement@sla.ny.gov. There's a more drill down email that I'll get and I'll provide after this conversation.
Okay. If you would be so kind, if you don't mind putting that in the Q&A or the chat, only because I'm trying to write what you're saying and you're saying it so fast, I'm not able to capture it. That's all. That's my question. Thank you for the time.
Okay. Definitely.
Michael, send it to Marie.
I will do so.
Because you can't type on your phone, I don't think.
Oh.
Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have a question from a fellow board member who's an attendee, Sante Michelli. I'm going to unmute him.
Okay.
Sante?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I'm Sante Micheli. I'm a board member, but I'm also a representative of our local block association. And definitely, I was the one raising the question because there is a lack of interaction that, with COVID, unfortunately, we can't interact the same way as we did before. So hopefully we're going to have an answer about that. And then other question, what is your attitude right now? We saw there are new application around our block, and we already have overreached the limit. Of the food rules. There were too many licenses already. So some of the other storefront, unfortunately, which they were local business and there were no bar, there were no restaurant, they got affected by COVID. They have closed down. So it seems that there is like a number of new possible potential replacement for this business. But once again, it seems to be only the bar. So I believe it's a diversity issue. We were already overwhelmed by bar and restaurant and liquor license application. So I'd love to know really if maybe this time we can have generally a different attitude in regard to that. And also for the future, trying to give an opportunity to maintain the diversity. We can't have like 20 legal license every 2 storefronts. So this was one of my question. And then there is a specific application, and I know you mentioned that that the community board this time will have a strong voice in this regard, but there is a renewable license of a barge bar, which is next door to a public park, and it wasn't in the past approved by community board, but for some reason SLA has approved the license despite community board they didn't grant approval for the license, and this activity has had tremendous impact on this public park, definitely by increasing the number of seating despite the original presentation and the original application. Nobody has ever checked on that, and also they've been playing very loud music. So the park has been severely impacted by sound, amplified music. They even illegally opened a fence. They cut through a fence that was a property of the Parks Department.
Sante,
And
Sante,
yeah, so I was curious to
Sante,
know.
Sante,
Sure.
this is Tom. We have been
Yeah,
dealing
Tom.
with the barge bar for years.
I know.
And Mike is not going to have an answer for that other than if you have complaints, you need to fill out the complaint form on the webpage, and the community board needs to have some kind of a meeting to discuss the barge bar and how to deal with it. I don't think the
Okay.
SLA is going to do one-on-ones unless they're having a hearing in Harlem, and then they'll have to invite everybody to come to it. But Mike, if you have an answer to close down the barge bar, go for it.
No, Tom, I agree with your sentiment right there. I think it's an offline conversation. I think we want to keep the channels of communication open, and I think you guys are doing a good job doing it with your board members as well as members of the public. And I could look into that. Tom, you could send me that information. I could revisit the barge with you folks, and we'll take it from there. How about that?
Okay.
But I wasn't expecting an answer. It was a difficult situation that I know the community has definitely deal with. And so I just want to open again and give a reminder to everybody. That's all. But thank you again. Sorry for being tedious about that.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else with questions for Mike? Because we need to discuss as a committee. Hearing none. Mike, if you want to hang out, you can, but we're going to probably talk about you.
That's okay. I'm confident it'll only be kind things, and I appreciate you guys for inviting me to this meeting. I really do. And Maria, I'll follow up. And again, anytime, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Thanks,
committee.
Bye-bye.
Committee. All right, so it looks like it's all dumped on us. And I don't know who originally wrote the procedures of our committee for what it is that we require. And we've talked over and over again about how to change them, make them better, more hard to deal with. But none of us really have the life or time to sit down and do all that. But the question is, what are we going to do with all of these licenses and renewals that are laying in front of us to get any kind of input on them all? Even though I ask at every community board meeting, somebody tell me what they feel about these places, and I get, you know, a few tree peepers, but not much else. Do we want to look at those lists and see if there's some way to deal with them? I don't know. Anybody have any ideas? Because, you know.
Tom, are you asking about the renewals, right?
No, I'm asking about all of them. We had
as far as the renewals,
we had we had three public hearings listed.
Yes.
Which we really had nobody could talk about anything because we were on this horrible WebEx, which is the most, I don't know why the city even uses that system. We could clear out the renewals if we want, but there may be ones in there that are a problem that the six of us won't really know anything about. And how do we be sure, you know, we've heard anything?
My suggestion was about the renewal. If we can review, every one of us can review, and if there's any problem, just let you know if there's any problem with some of the restaurant or bar.
But how will we, I have not left this apartment for more than like 10 minutes for almost 7 months.
Okay.
Nobody comes to my door and says, excuse me, there's a problem with this. Excuse me. And I don't think Marie has a list of things over there. And I've asked the precincts, but they're all tied up in dealing with COVID madness. So they really haven't given me any input. You know, I've made notes about some of the new ones, which could be problematic. But then how do we pick out good or, you know, there's
Tom, I have a suggestion.
Good.
If something Michael said was they technically legally have to notify us, and when they get to us, they have to accept a process. And if they don't accept the process, they will get a hard time later in SLA. That is true. They are about processes. The SLA, you know that. If you skip a process, they get upset. So we could tell renewals and new that they have to post at their establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And before you get to the where we're sending them to, we could post them to the set general board meeting. If this license is being renewed, considered for renewal. If you have something to say about this license, come to the next meeting. And the next set meeting would be the general community board meeting, where someone can sign up during public session and say something about that license. And then in that public session there, we could then now have that feedback that you're referring to, because not everyone is going out to restaurants.
Yeah.
But I think that's the notice that they're giving now, but we're having these public meetings on WebEx. How, I don't know, are people, you know, the first meeting, Dialis couldn't get on the meeting for 40 minutes. And by that time, people had left and weren't going to say anything. So I don't know if they went home and wrote letters or, you know, or anything like that. And then it's like, Marie, the notice that they're required by us, because we're the ones requiring it clearly. What is it that we require that they post? The public meeting or the committee meeting? Marie?
Oh, they're required to post that 10 days before public meeting.
I'm sorry, Tom, what was that?
All right. The meeting that we had on September 8th, we had 45 new and 67 renewals.
Yes.
I'm assuming that all of those applicants have sent you
30-day notices. That's it.
But did any of them, but did they tell us that they posted, or they only do that when they come to the committee meeting?
It's only when we have the information to give to them that they post.
So all those 112 or whatever it was applicants didn't post any meetings?
No.
So
to my knowledge, they have not.
So the WebEx meeting that we had on September 8th wasn't on their notice for public to come to?
Correct. Because
And then
there was no committee meeting to give them direction to go to. and we were not sure about what the next steps were going to
No,
be.
but normally, don't they go to they have to post the public hearing first, right? If it wasn't COVID time, what do they put on their notice?
If we don't have full information to give them, we can't give them something to post.
Well,
Okay.
in the past, when we had information to give them,
I can answer the question.
In
Okay.
in the past, once we have all the dates set up, they're giving a timeline. We did not have a timeline to give them.
No,
okay,
no.
well,
We advertised them.
Okay, I'm a new
advertised them.
person. I just was born yesterday. I just came out of the womb yesterday, and I want to get a bar. What is it that in the past, before COVID, had to be on the notice that I stuck on my building? What had to be on?
10 days before public meeting.
There had to be notice of the public meeting, correct?
Right.
And notice of the committee meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
And if we don't have either one of those, we don't post anything?
We have not been able to give them anything.
No, but we had a date of the public meeting, right?
Let me go back on the process. The process is once they give the 30-day notice, we'll advertise them. They're on a meeting notice. They're advertised. What we would follow up with is a committee meeting where they would come and meet with the committee and give their application. Those dates would be posted.
Okay, well, we always knew what the community board meeting date was, and we always knew what the committee meeting date was, because they've been
I think Marie's saying she needs
over
direction.
a year.
You have to tell her that. You have to say, just post at least then for this SLA process. The general meeting, we don't have a committee meeting. Someone in the staff needs to be told that.
No, we
I don't want to speak to Marie,
had
but
a
that's what it
committee
seems
meeting
like.
scheduled for a whole year. We did a full year of committee meeting dates.
The answer is very simple, Tom. You're right. Bob is right. Before we did not have our SLA meeting. So
we had it scheduled. It was always scheduled. We canceled it.
Okay. What we practiced for 4 years, the applicant has to post that 10 days before public meeting, then goes to SLA meeting.
All right. So at the beginning of August,
yes,
we had in our community board calendar the date of the public meeting, and we had in the date of the committee meeting. So why didn't anybody post at the beginning of August?
You're right.
Marie?
When was your committee meeting?
They're always the fourth Tuesday of the month.
When was your committee meeting? When I asked to set up committee meetings, I was told you don't know how you're going to handle the process.
Right, but they knew when it was.
But I can't put up a meeting unless it's confirmed, and it was not confirmed.
No, I want to know what they're putting on the piece of paper they're sticking on their window. I don't care what you're putting on the webpage.
I'm not talking about the webpage. That information is on what they're putting in the window. If half the information is missing, I cannot give that to them.
All right, so we have to always, all right, well then, Rob, make a suggestion on how we're going to deal with this.
I think it's pretty simple. All you have to do as a committee, and unless Marie needs more power than this, as a committee, we can tell Marie, moving forward, that the only meeting that we're requiring now is the general meeting. For them to post the general meeting for the public, for them to have any questions about this liquor license, they will attend the meeting. Marie, do you need a higher approval other than this a motion from this committee?
I'm to be honest, I'm not sure. I think the committee can make the recommendation. I'm not sure if the whole process was approved by the board at a board meeting when we went through the whole process of how they were going to proceed with the application.
Got it. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because we are having committee meetings. So what Marie's saying is, if you confirm a committee meeting and a general meeting, Marie, you're good to go, right? That everybody will then go back to regular and get their notifications, correct?
And then you would have to decide how you're going to handle those meetings because they're going to be held online.
Right. So, but a notification, for notification purposes, you need process of the confirming of the committee meeting and the general meeting for you to give someone the ability to post. Just handling that part. Is that accurate?
Sounds correct.
Okay. So, Tom, we're having a
We've-
meeting now.
We've
We'll
had
be able to
committee
set the next
meetings
meeting.
set for a year, and we've had community board meetings set for a year.
All right,
And
so
it
Tom,
gets
we can
down
confirm
to
the meeting
what's
now.
the
Now-
agenda? And it's like, just post the meeting and we'll do an agenda.
But Tom, I think it was pandemic time. Now we could just confirm that we are going to have this committee meeting with a WebEx, and they can be appointed to the general, which she already knows. And then the next question Marie has is, okay, let's say we do all of that. How are we conducting this meeting? How are we going to invite 20 applicants to the meeting?
Maybe we're
How
not
are we doing
inviting anybody. Maybe if no public shows up at the general meeting, then we're going to say, fine, nobody cares, and we'll just approve them without having to talk to them.
Right. That's what the SLA wants.
No, I think we should still meet. I think it's hard to navigate a list over an email. We should still meet as a committee and go one by one and look at each applicant the way we normally have done it. I don't mind joining on a call. I mean, this is a well-attended call. I don't want to keep talking, but I think people would be able to go through the list together. By then, we would get some feedback. Somebody would text us or call us and say, hey, I think you have a committee meeting that night. We should at least invite the applicants to join the call and get their pitch. What are they doing here? What are you for renewals and renewals? For new, I think we should still have a meeting.
Right, but so then are they standing 6 feet apart waiting their turn to speak? That's the,
Person, I'm talking WebEx. We should have the WebEx meeting. Like
Yeah,
the way
but
we're doing
WebEx
it
is a
now.
piece of shit. You can only put like 50 people on it and it blows up.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. But to Marie's point, we're simply talking about a little bit of the process. We could have a meeting and go through the list and make our motions and recommendations for the full board. There's no reason why we can't do that part of it. I think we're gonna get some good comments from people once they start these businesses start to post. People will call into these dial-in numbers and start saying what they feel and get that feedback you want.
So we had a meeting scheduled tonight. We're having a meeting. Did anybody of the latest crew that are coming to our public meeting on the 10th post?
You were supposed to advise us on how to proceed from this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I give up. Somebody else chair.
Yes, I would like to
I
just
quit.
so according to what we had before and what we were talking about for the past 10 minutes, that's been every applicant, whoever is on the agenda for November 10th, should post that at the latest day of the October 31st, 10 days before the public meeting. Simple as that. So it has to be notified that they have to post the sign that we are talking about 10 days before public meeting. That's been before the 31st of October. Thank you.
And who's going to do that?
That's the committee board has all the application and all the emails on this. So this has to be just sent to the applicant that they have to post. Like before we didn't know what to do. Now we decide we're going to do it.
Well, there's 11 new and 15 renewals. So I don't know that Joanna and Marie are going to be able, I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. I have no idea.
Tom, so am I right in understanding, in theory, instead of them physically, as they usually would, bringing in a printout of a photograph showing that they've posted with a New York Times or post that's dated, why can't they just take a picture of that and email that with their application?
I don't really give a shit right about that now. I am concerned about how does the public know that the community board is even having meetings?
Got it.
Who goes to our webpage?
Right.
We used to have people put signs in the windows and people knew we were having a meeting and they showed up. Now it's all become, well, they can go look at our webpage. Nobody goes to that webpage. So what are we talking about?
But I suppose we just have to base it on the same way that we made the assumption that people in the neighborhood would walk by these establishments and see it. I mean, people are still walking around. They're still in their neighborhoods.
Right, but these applicants haven't posted anything. They haven't gone door to door. They haven't gone to other buildings. They've done nothing. They sent a notice to the community board office.
Yes, but because they did not have any instruction from CB1 how we want to do, how we want to proceed, what we should do. So they didn't know. And now, since we can decide if we're going to do that way, they still have the time to post that.
But what gave them the implication that they wouldn't follow through with the standard? I mean, I do understand knocking on doors and getting signatures. I do understand that that is obviously sensitive. But posting, I mean, they should be doing it in exactly the same manner.
Because
Yes.
Marie is saying, I didn't tell Marie what it was I was going to do at my committee meeting so that they could post about it.
I think we're having the meeting now about procedure. For the people that have applied, we can get back to them after this meeting, say the committee has met. We are just using the same procedure. Put notification for the next November meeting, and then I would advise them to come to the November committee meeting, which you have scheduled, and then they would have, that would be the two-prong. Now, we may miss the 30-day. They may say, okay, we're moving forward, but we could still invite them and say, look, we were trying to figure things out. We're using the same procedure. These are the meeting dates. Post the sign, and then come to these 2 meetings. You have to come to at least the subcommittee, but the public has 2 opportunities to come to the general and the subcommittee. Marie doesn't need any motion for that. That's already approved by the committee.
And then James, we should add to them that they need to then send us proof of posting.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if we can get this together by the next full board meeting, but I would suggest something to the effect of some kind of template that notifies of the meeting as per usual, with some kind of amendment to that posting that gives an email address and phone number of the applicant that neighborhood people, community members can call and email to learn more before the meeting, to try and have some socially distanced, responsible engagement of community board members with the applicants, the same way that it might happen if they stood there one afternoon trying to get signatures. And in a perfect world, these people would have an opportunity to discuss their intentions, address concerns of the community member, and then, again, in a perfect world, the community member would say, yes, I endorse this, and would send them an email that they could then submit to us and say, look, I got 10 people on my block to send an email saying they're in support. Again, I know this is a lofty ambition, but I think it's a good substitute for what we ordinarily require.
Yeah, but we have 1.5 staff people in the board office.
I know.
You know, doing 1,200 things.
Yeah.
So, you know, how is that going to happen? And, you know, we're still dealing with that damn bylaw change. That's taking up all the time. It's like printing up those bylaws and sending the bylaws out. So I don't know.
I guess what we might try to do is to shift the sort of substitute the engagement, instead of just them in the traditional sense where they just say, hey, we're going to be having this meeting, we're going to be speaking about it, come along, and then we get a barrage of people in a small room, which we can no longer do. It would, in theory, require the applicant to go about an alternate way to explain their case before the meeting or before our Zoom meeting, so that they would actually do some of the heavy lifting directly with the concerned community board members, potentially get endorsements and support from said community members, and then they would present accordingly, and then we'd be, you know, probably in a better place to give an informed resolution. But you're right, Tom. It's a lot of work.
And we have had set community board meetings and committee meetings for a year. So it's like, they should just
Tom,
know.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but once you start messing with process, we're gonna be here for a few months. There's a set process that's already been approved and vetted. Let's put our applicants through the process, and when the guy whatever the human comes to present, and they get to a line item, they're gonna simply say, "Well, obviously we can't do that because of COVID."
Yeah.
Next line. So why go through the whole process of going to a community board, making a motion, you having some type of moment of a speech, and then we don't have to. We have a set thing that's been approved.
All right, Marie.
We can do that.
Marie?
I am listening.
Okay. If the next community board public meeting is November 10th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we have listed for the public meeting on that date 11 new and 15 renewal. Is there a way, at least to the new, can we get something to them to say that, you know, this weekend they got to post that they're coming to the public meeting?
So far, what I've received from them is an email with the 30-day notice attachment. If there's a representative listed on the cover of the email, or there's the information inside the body of the document, that's the only contact that I have with them at this point.
But can we tell, because we have a committee meeting scheduled for November 24th, and there's a public hearing on November 10th. So for at least for the meetings that are on the public hearing, by this Friday, could we email to all those that were, you know, they got to do the normal posting?
Well, let's
Of
just
the
agree on
meetings?
what the posting's going to look like.
The same way like used to be.
Well, no, they're sending, the old posting says go to the community board office.
So
There has to be something that says dial into the WebEx or something. I don't know how that's going to.
explain the process to set up a meeting. I have to have an agenda to set up the meeting. If I don't have an agenda, I don't set up the meeting.
But the SLA agenda is always the same. It's the
Listen to what I'm
applicant.
saying. I need from the committee chair to say, I'm going to have a meeting, and this is what's on the agenda. Okay, so I can do that once I have the agenda. So you're
There's a
telling me
meeting-
that on this meeting that's coming up on the 24th, these items that appear in November is going to be your agenda.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that's what I need to know.
That's it. Yes,
That's what I need to know. And
That's
then in terms of setting up a notice, I would have to go into WebEx and set up the meeting and then have all those links available. So that's the key thing. You know, I can't set anything up unless I have an agenda.
All right. Well, we're going to have a committee meeting on the 24th of November to consider the items that are on the public hearing on the 10th. Got that, committee?
Great.
Yes.
So get the list and see if there's any problems on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that takes care of that. Now, what do we do with the ones that were in the past?
I think Mike said he's going to send something by tomorrow to show what the status they are at.
Okay.
And so if there's problem children, you have to let them know. So that can something we can deal with right off the bat.
All right. Well, off my top of my head, there were issues raised about Mexico 2000, and I wasn't recalling whether 23 Meadow LLC had finished making their presentation about their large venue or not. I think they did. There's a lot of issues about Berry Street Associates, and I don't know what their method of operation application is to even talk about it, but we have a lot of issues with them. And the McCarran Park House, the park committee voted against it, yet they're coming to us for a liquor license. So those are ones that jumped out to me. So if people have ones that jumped out, we need to know what they are and talk about what we want to tell the SLA about those ones. Anybody?
Yeah. What is the Berry Street? What's the Berry Associates? What's their?
What's the address?
131 Berry Street. It's the gas station that became the garden store, that became the outdoor party space, that became.
Oh, that's yeah. That place has been problematic for ages, right?
Right. They're putting in for a method of operation change and an alteration. I'm like, I don't think we should let them even stay open. But the public, I would have, if they knew that this was coming up, I think all those neighbors would have sent notes to our board. But I'm sure Berry Street didn't tell them they were doing this.
Yeah, I mean, so I think to that point, Tom, I don't mean to minimize our efforts to try and understand what our role is and what the protocol should be given these crazy times. But I think that is a perfect example of the kind of operation that we have to have on our radar because, I think at this point, our main goal is to run interference for North Brooklyn turning into the wild, wild west as it sort of started to about 10 years ago, right? With people just, thinking it's, a reset that they can do whatever they want and everyone will just, fall in line due to the fact that it's COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Basically preserving the integrity and all the work that we've been doing to make sure that our neighborhood stays as sane as possible. So I'm with you on that one. I think that's one that we should completely red flag.
I think stuff goes to the board office now, which we don't get because we don't go to the board office. So Marie maybe has a stack of complaint letters about certain applicants, which we somehow have to be able to be aware of.
If we have anything, I forward it to the committee.
Okay. But do you scan all that stuff? And that's like, well, oh.
If a complaint comes in, it goes to the New York State Liquor Authority, which we have done.
Okay.
If people want to be anonymous, we do that. And I'm sorry, Mrs. Smith is gone off the call, but I personally do send him problem children that we do get.
Okay. All right. So do we want to? I mean, Mike is going to send us a list tomorrow of what's gone and what hasn't gone. But do you want me to run through the renewal list at least so you can all hear it and like scream at me if something jumps out?
Yes, please do that.
Yes, but all three lists or just which one?
I'm going to start at I'm going to start way back when. Just pay attention. You ready?
Okay. September.
You guys your copy because a lot of people didn't have theirs. So
September 8th.
The September 8th list, we've got something called East River on 97 South 6th Street. Did Rob leave us?
Good to go. I had my birthday party there when I was 30. Good to go.
Kent Ale Cafe on Kent Avenue. Hearing nothing. The White Hotel, they have a problem at all?
No, they're good.
They're good. Okay, Dee's Brooklyn Steakhouse. I don't think they're a problem. Sugarberg. Anybody know Sugarberg?
No.
519 Metropolitan?
Yeah, they're right on the corner, like block away from Meeker.
Oh, I know where it is. Okay.
They're nice.
Pelicana Chicken on Manhattan Avenue?
No.
I think they're fine.
Donna on 27 Broadway.
It's fine.
Dollar Bill.
Fine.
Woodhull Wine Bar.
I don't know.
All right, they're on Driggs, 644 Driggs. No idea where that is. Cherry Point, which is on Manhattan Avenue.
They're closed.
Okay.
Business.
Second Chance Saloon. Grand Street, Rob.
Second chance.
Los Primos Restaurant on Grand Street.
Los Primos, good. Los Primos, good.
Anja Noir Cafe in Barrett Street.
Don't know.
Don't know. At Bayoberg.
They're fine.
Biba.
Closed.
Really? Okay. Brooke Costello Red Table Cater.
Who was closed?
Wait, did you say Beaver's closed?
Josh?
Beaver on Kent Avenue. Is that the
Yeah.
one you're talking?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was just in there. There's nothing happening there.
No, but they close because they have a cafe and they have a restaurant across the street. Just, are you sure they are closed?
The one on the park side.
Yes.
There's nothing happening there right now. I don't know if they want to keep their license active,
But
but
what,
there's no business happening there. The
All right,
guy's
we have
trying
no
to
issue
rent
with
the,
them right now.
He's
Okay.
trying to rent the space. Yeah.
Is this Brooke Costello, Red Table Catering Company, doing business as Thompson Brook, Grant Street? All right, now on the list, everybody, is Brooklyn Barge. Do we want to say we have problems with it? Do we want to not renew their license?
It seems that they're a big problem down in Greenpoint.
We tried not to open them at the beginning, and they, went in anyway. So I'm not a big fan. Committee, anybody want to make a suggestion, make a motion? I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
Disapprove. Rob Salon.
Yeah, Josh, I agree.
Committee, do you want to disapprove their new renewal?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Unanimous. Anyone gets?
Okay. Got that, Marie?
I have disapprove of the renewal. I'm sorry, who was that? That said it?
Brooklyn Barge.
Number 17.
No, I know it's Brooklyn Barge, but what is the reason? I had to give them a reason.
Complaints. There's been neighborhood complaints. They're using the park. Noise.
Okay.
Caribbean Sports Bar.
Don't know.
Timu.
Don't know.
Good.
They're okay. Butler, South Fifth Street, Rob.
yeah, they're good.
Ceremony. Manhattan Avenue.
I don't know them.
Oxonoko.
They're fine. They're on Greenpoint.
Night of Joy.
They seem fine.
I like them.
Bia.
Don't know.
Two Boots.
South Fifth Street one is the one by the waterfront, not by you guys. South Association. All right, get quarantine.
D&J Grocery. Why are they on the list? We don't do grocery stores. The Mole.
Sometimes they serve in the restaurant.
Oh, they put tables in. That's right.
Yeah.
The Mole on Hope Street. No idea. The Commodore, Metropolitan.
I believe that's the one on Hope Street was the one that they might have made a lot of complaints about.
I thought it was Mexico 2000 or something, wasn't it?
In the middle of the block, it was the people that were living around it came out.
I don't have any. I usually scribble complaint notes. I don't have any notes.
That was Oak Street that Tom just talked about, right?
Hope, 2 Hope Street.
Oh, that's the one on the corner.
The corner of what?
Hope and Roebling. They're fine.
The Commodore on Metropolitan Avenue. Anybody know what that is?
Yep.
On Pancho Villa? Are those the guys with the bar that they try to put outside? Okay. Meadow Suite.
They're fine.
Eris Evolution.
I don't know.
Zabloski's. North 6th. Graham Central Cafe. Nobody's screaming about it. It's fine. The Greenpoint Truck Stop.
Don't know.
Habanero Cafe Mexican Grill.
Habanero is great. Really slow, but great.
Amami Sushi. Favela.
He's okay.
They're fine. Yeah.
Hanasashi.
He's okay.
Bushnawa. I like these names. Laconda. They've been behaving, Marie?
It's fine.
La Nortena Restaurant number 2.
I don't know.
Fine.
Northern Bell.
Are they still open?
I think they're closed, no?
Yeah, I think they're done.
All right. Well,
They
we're
sold
going to
that
compare.
building.
We're going to compare it to the list that they send us tomorrow. Lady J's,
They're fine.
Minami
Grand
Sushi,
Street.
Minami Sushi, Nuovo Fiore, Maggi, Modern Love, Kyoto Sushi, Demimonde, New Apollo. They stopped doing plastic cups years ago, yes?
Yeah. We all finally adapted to Apollo and gave drinks out, so they're good to go.
Newtown, Thai Cafe, Horses and Divorces.
Oh, I forgot that.
How do you guys feel? How are those guys?
Bedford Avenue. I don't know.
That's
I
the
haven't.
same. That's the same owner that was. They were partying it up during COVID. That lived next to. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name?
I
Again?
forgot.
You know, she's in the. She's on the
Yes.
board.
Ryan, right?
Ryan.
Yeah. No good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Noise.
about those guys, man.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a good. That didn't sit well with me at all. And that guy owns all those places.
I make a motion to disapprove.
Yeah, I agree.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got to give Maria a
against?
reason. What's the reason? Noise, the not following COVID.
Yeah, and just total disregard for their neighbors. Yeah.
Okay. Noise and disregard for neighbors. Community. Okay.
Hold on, Maria, you got that?
You can throw in COVID risks. It's the
Horses and
governor's going
divorces,
after
right?
them.
285 Bedford.
Yeah.
Yes, horses and divorces. Yes.
Such a bad name and yet good at the same time.
What's the name of the company? What the hell's the company name? NYSF?
It's also a catchy one.
Goats and reconciliation.
There you go.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
M Condo 502. 502 brand.
They've been around for a long time.
All right,
Yeah.
Goldies.
They're fine.
Legamine.
They're fine.
The Narrows. Connie O's Pub.
I don't know.
Norman Avenue.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an old school dive.
Oh, I love those.
Good to go.
You get some Four Roses there?
I mean, it's put it this way, it's scared me. I didn't go into it, but I know it's
I love those places.
yeah.
Samurai Papa.
Good to go.
Rockarola. What the hell's Rockarola? Metropolitan Avenue. Extra Fancy.
Again, rock and roll is the same guy as Horses, Divorces, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
because
Horses, Divorces.
He has lots of corporate names. Then, how many corporate names does he have?
Well, he'd have all different like LLCs, right?
Yeah,
makes sense.
Just that's the guy that owns like George and Jack's and
yeah.
He's the fireman.
Correct.
Sal. His name.
Yes. Yeah.
Is 486 Metropolitan the one by Ryan?
It's right on the corner of Berry. It's like right on Berry and I can't remember the name of it. It's on Berry and Metropolitan.
Yeah, because this Rockarola's address is 486 Metropolitan.
Yeah, that's it,
Yep,
man.
that's
That's
it.
the one.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
no,
Okay, so I guess we're disapproving that one then for the same reasons.
Make motion to disapprove.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
The guy doesn't even live in this community at all. And, not saying that you need to, but they don't care at all. They
All right,
just
so
want to get some money.
So what were they doing on that corner? Noise, disregarding neighbors?
Same thing.
Same
Yeah, he basically told her to go fuck off or whatever.
Yeah.
Is he the guy with the weird tables on the street, on the sidewalk too? Do you have tables on the
I don't
sidewalk?
know. They were doing whatever they wanted. They set up the bar in the street.
Yeah, that guy.
Like,
yes.
In the very, very bad part of those first 3 months.
Excellent. Extra Fancy.
Oh, he's terrible. But that's
Terrible.
Good to go.
Terrible.
Good to go, that guy. That's great. Keep going.
Juan Paco? Juan Paco? I don't know that one.
Juan Paco?
621 Manhattan. Juan Paco? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. That's not me. That's too north.
Trafe, Shiksa, Hudson, Die.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. It's a weird name. All right, that was all the renewals.
They're okay.
All right, so we disapproved of Horses and Divorces and Rockarola and Brooklyn Barge on that list. Got that, Marie?
Got it.
But we'll check with Mike's list tomorrow, see if we're too late. All right, this is a shorter list. Ready?
Yep.
Williamsburg Hotel and Harvey. Behaving?
I
Weren't they
think
doing those parties?
Yeah, they were really, they were not behaving.
They
for a
got
while.
fined. They got fined.
Yeah, I mean,
We gotta like disapprove. I know not. I know it's. I don't think she owns it anymore, right? I think she sold it, right?
I don't know, but that I agree with Bob. I mean, that can't really matter. I don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that there was like some real public safety issues going on, and
A lot of press.
Yeah, the
We
disapprove.
got,
Yeah.
yeah. I make a motion to disapprove.
Yeah, I second it.
Okay,
Based
so
on,
all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, based on
complete violation of COVID restrictions
and safety
and
just
safety.
public safety.
It's
for
public
sure.
safety.
There had too many people up there. Not
Yeah.
enough exits.
No
Elevators not
mask.
working. All
Nothing.
sorts of craziness.
Mommy's in back.
got that, Marie? All right, banter. Calexico carne asada.
Yeah, cool.
Cheese boat.
They're fine.
Well, they're on Berry Street. Did they party in Berry Street and make everybody crazy, or they behave
I
themselves?
think that's where the video, we first got the video about them going in the street and
Doing-
playing music outside. But I haven't heard anything since then.
Yeah, I haven't heard since that video. I thought
I haven't heard.
Everybody
All
cooled
right.
off on Barry, right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Chipotle.
Yeah, but fine.
Hate them.
Yeah.
Spectrum Catering and Concession.
Don't know.
66 North 6th Street. What's it? It says music venue. So who is that?
Say that one more time.
66 North 6. Is that like the first block from the river?
Seven.
Catering.
Yes, that's yes.
Hall of
It's the old
Williamsburg.
North Sixth.
That is between Bury and Kent. Yes.
That's the old North Six, isn't it?
Yes.
The name was North 6?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's calling itself Spectrum Catering. What goes on there?
catering.
Oh, I'm not. Is a catering hall over there? I don't
Wasn't
know.
that? It became Music Hall of Williamsburg or whatever.
Yeah, it says
Yeah, that's
music.
what I
It
think it
says
was.
music venue. So I'm like,
Yeah.
It has that awning, that like glass awning in front of
The
it.
marquee.
Yeah, I think I've never heard an issue about that spot.
Okay.
I
just
mean, I never
checking.
went, so it's probably boring.
Forma Pasta, Bedford Avenue. Who knows what they are? Jupiter Disco. Listen, who is Jupiter Disco? Can somebody tell me?
That's the spot on Flushing. It has that little red light
1237
in front of it.
Flushing. Disc
Yeah, I've been there
jockey,
before.
recorded music. How big a place is it?
It's very small. It has like a little red light. It's trying to act like a speakeasy, but it's not. It's like in the middle of nowhere. It's by like two garages. It's fine.
Okay,
It's
because
fine.
they've been harassing us for their late notice. And I'm like, I never heard of them before. Okay.
They're nice people. They're really nice. It's
All right.
cool.
The diner on Broadway.
A little expensive, but they're fine.
Anchored Inn.
Yeah, they're fine. Bushwick.
Sweet Chick.
They're fine.
Yeah, the
Sazon
waffle and
Perez.
the waffle and stuff spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stina Easton.
What is it?
Stina Easton. It's on White.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. The Monarch Theater.
They're fine.
Is that the?
They're right next to Nighthawk.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then Williamsburg Thai. Okay. So
I
Marie,
mean-
we disapprove of the hotel on that list. All right. Last group of renewals. Ready?
Yeah.
Where'd it go? Oh, there's only 6. Frozen. Oh, the Palace on Nassau Avenue.
That's there. Okay.
Little Chalk Apothecary
I don't know.
on Havemeyer. Tuffet.
It's a wine bar. It's fine.
Then we have Mexico 2000. We've had people, Southside homeowners, live music, backyard partying.
I'm frustrated with those guys as well. Remember they came with the application.
Yeah, yeah.
They came. This application was a mess, and they were trying to legalize their backyard, and then they said, "Oh, you know what? Forget it. We'll never use it."
and they said they only do the indoor part. I remember this vividly. It was like maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. And these guys turned around
It
and
was like last September or something.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
frustrating. I was like, look,
It was
just go.
yeah.
Well,
These guys,
And we
I told them,
gave them a hard time because they had complained before. I think Gina had even said
Yeah.
something about them, maybe.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the one that they kept coming, going, and they never had a complete application,
Right,
and then they
right.
disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do
I
you
make a
think,
motion
Gina?
to
We should give
disapprove.
them renew their license then?
No, I would make a motion to disapprove.
All those in favor?
second it.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay,
And-
Marie needs specific reason. Marie, so specific reason, they are in violation of their liquor license. They are not allowed to serve alcohol in their backyard. Is in complete violations of the liquor license. They're not allowed to have amplified music. They have amplified music in the back. They're not supposed to be in the outdoor at all. And they're in complete violations of the liquor license.
Got that? Got that, Marie? Nod your head or something. Wave your hand.
Oh, first I should ask,
Okay,
hey, Marie.
yes, I got it.
Sorry, Marie. Sorry, yes.
What's
All
the
right.
place on the corner where everybody parks their cars in the no parking area and then they like all sit in the street partying?
Oh, don't. That's not this. That's something else.
Okay, because what is
Yeah.
that?
That's not this.
All right. Salts and charcoal, anybody?
Okay, you're welcome,
Expensive.
Southside. Goodbye.
What?
No, Southside, they're very happy. Just you're not seeing the chat. There's a chat. Just saying
Oh,
you're welcome.
Red's Tavern. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay. Butterfly Hair Salon in Mexico 20. Oh, what is the Butterfly Hair Salon?
I think they're just giving point of reference. But it's from Butterfly. Yeah, they're just giving point of reference.
So are they using
It's not their
anybody else's?
backyard. They're like jumping into someone's backyard.
Oh, okay.
They're making
All
it
right,
even
because I
worse.
wrote that
It's not
down.
even
I'm like, who's
theirs.
Butterfly Hair Salon? Okay. That's it on the renewals, everybody.
Woo.
Now the new ones. Do we remember if 23 Meadow did all they had to do for us? Did they present to the full board?
Let me look at that email. You want to skip that one?
Well, 23 Bedford was the big venue. They came and made a presentation. I don't know if we ever had a committee meeting again after they gave us traffic. They gave us all that stuff. So I want to make sure we were okay with them.
23 Meadow, right? I thought that was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Berry Street was the only one, and McCarran Park House that jumped out of that list, which if they haven't gotten their license yet, I would suggest opposing those two.
I know that the McCarran has not even, they're not at the SLA at all. They were notifying us. So they're coming.
Oh, it was a new application on our board meeting in September.
I think they wanted to do the thing where they come and get grilled by you for a day. You know, the thing that people do. They come and they say, okay, what do you need before we officially submit?
Are they withdrawing their application then?
I don't know. Marie can clear it up, but my understanding is they were coming to get grilled by you and get all the information.
Well, the Parks Committee voted against the Park House, so it's like,
I have no idea what they're doing. They're not built out.
Correct.
How could they don't even have a CFO if they're going to restructure that park house? My impression was that they were going to try to do everything outdoors. That's my feeling.
Yep.
So,
Tom, what I'm saying is that I think they were just they wanted to come to the meeting. I don't know. I don't think it was like the official start.
Right, but this was from September when there was like no meeting, and so they've now all are up at the SLA. So we got to be able to tell Mike like cut them off or something,
No, I checked. I know the mic trick before the meet because I knew you were going to talk about this one. They're not at SLA.
How could they even show a CFO?
That's what I mean. They're not
Early.
there.
It's premature.
Yeah, they're not there yet. They're nowhere near. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody
and
know?
I think the Parks Department has their own process too. So.
All right. Does anybody know what method of operation change Taco Chino is doing in Domino Park?
You mean Taco Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the way you called him Taco Chino. I like that.
I don't know what they're doing.
Marie, is there a way to find out?
Are they on the list?
They were on the list for September, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Number 12.
Okay, we'll have to find out what it is that they're talking about.
Yeah, because we had to rein them in when they first opened that thing. So I just want to make sure they're not, saying, "Oh, it's been a year now. They're not going to pay any attention to us."
They went back to cash. They were trying to do credit card only, and they got yelled at. They're doing cash, but I didn't know about the
does that affect their license though? What's the change in their liquor license?
I don't know what's going on with the change.
Collecting cash is a whole other thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now there's and the new ones. Fabienne's is doing a change. I think that's a board member. Authentic Pierogi. Bogdan, did that get straightened out?
It's a new application. They have to follow the process. No 30-day notice on new applications.
Okay.
Tom, if I can answer the question, because they applied to us twice. That was different ownership once. Two owners, and the last time about a year ago, and we approved first time, and then we approved a second time, and now they apply a third time, but the ownership is changed, but the location is the same, and they have different menu, different way of doing the business. So they change absolutely the menu. So,
right, but they're on the meeting for the November 10th. So they're one of the ones we want to have notice done, right, Marie?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? I think we've done enough for tonight.
Yeah, it was great.
Somebody say something?
Yeah.
Great, Tom. Great job. The best.
All right. So there's a full board meeting on November 10th. Hopefully, the public that wants to speak will send in emails or letters or something to the board to let us know if they've got problems. And then we'll have a committee meeting as previously scheduled on November the 24th. Yes, Marie?
Yes.
November 24th? Somewhere someday I'll write. I got to write that report for the public safety meeting before next week somehow. I'll have to watch the videotape. All right.
And then Tom, before we end this meeting, let's say Marie gets notification of new licenses between now and the next meeting. Their process will be they would have to post this committee meeting coming up in November 24th, and then they would post the general meeting of December for the one after this call.
No, that's backwards.
The list.
Okay, Marie, hit me with what would happen normally.
The new people coming on to that send us a 30-day notice will be compiled for the December meeting.
Correct. Okay, got it. They would
be reviewed by the committee wherever its meeting is in December.
Which is December 22nd.
Beautiful. You should have made it December 24th, but 22nd works too. December 22nd.
You have to figure out how you're going to do the review via WebEx.
Well, we sort of did a review just now, but we don't know yet which licenses have been approved by where the status is, and I may have to just.
Marie, when we have those agenda items in the full board where like the census is presenting or someone's presenting, do they get like a different like ID in order for them to share their screen and talk? Is that how that works for the general?
When someone is going to be presenting,
yes,
and they've been approved on the agenda to be a presenter,
right?
Then when they do their presentation, then they're panelists, and then they're given the presenter, like you pass on the presenter to them so they can control the screen.
Yeah,
Right.
Marie just switches a switch at the bottom of the square.
Got it. Don't we want to have that available for the applicants that are coming on our subcommittee, so they can be showing to us out their presentation of their
I guess we
application?
could, Marie, I guess we could do that, but it'd be we'd have, there's only 14 on this month's board meetings. That's a reasonable number of people that could be waiting their turn to tell us about their application. Right, Marie?
Marie, do you need that direction now?
At the committee meeting,
Yeah.
that they come and they present.
Yeah.
If you feel it's manageable, or how you want to process it, what they're supposed to share with you, is it still the same questionnaire? Or there's going to be something about COVID that you want to throw in there? I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, he's gonna send a list of people who are suspended, and we can just ask them that question. But
This is for new applications, correct?
New.
right,
Yep.
so they're not going to have suspension. So it's just they're going to show up and present. But the only thing is, how do we get the packets?
Well, don't we normally email it to them and then they PDF it back? So wouldn't we have those PDFs?
They could do that. We could send that as a process.
Yeah.
And then we're going to open each one on our screen while the thing's going on. Okay.
Well, obviously we'll have it beforehand, right? Marie usually does the dump. I usually get like 20 emails that day of all the packages, and then we can give them the panelist thing, and then they can present. They don't have to show us the application. They could show us some stuff that we want to see. Show us some photos. We'll have it, but maybe we should give them that access to actually officially present.
All right, but
it's 14 people. It's not that many.
I get it. It's a lot of paper to be reading because they're going to be referring to something in their application, and we're going to have to be able. You're going to print out all those.
Well, that's why you give them
pages.
the access. We don't have to all have it on. We're just watching one screen. Give them the burden of saying, "Okay, this is page 4. This is your
that's
question."
an idea. Oh, that's right. They could do a PowerPoint of their application pages.
Correct. I mean, they could just do the PDF too. You could I've done whatever.
Yeah, they could flip the pages. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way we're all watching one screen.
I like that idea.
Okay.
I don't know how we explain that to them, but especially some of the people who can't fill out the written ones.
That's going to be fun.
Like if one of those little restaurants that just learned how to cook shows up and would say, "What is your application's wrong?"
Tom, I have a question. On the new application, whatever we're going to review, I would just go easy on one thing with that list going through the neighbors and supporting them. That could be really difficult. And anyway, they are not doing proper work. So should we give up this, or that's just considered very, very serious thing to post?
I think we just want them to post
okay
thing in front, notifying people that they're making an application. The public hearing is going to be on WebEx.
Okay.
Marie, what is it that you post on the web page about the public meeting? Marie?
I have to unmute myself. Oh.
Look at him. He's so cute. He's so upset.
We post the agenda.
Right, but does it include a link for people to then come to the meeting?
On that as an attendee, they can link on to the meeting. They have to slide into the meeting.
Right. So if we're telling them to do a note, like this week, we're going to tell them they have to post a notice of the public meeting and the committee meeting. So do they need to include on their posting the web address, or are we going to tell them to post, if you want to come to the meeting, contact the board office to get the web link? What do we want them to say on their notice? They can't say go to the community board office.
Well, the thing is that we could prepare that for them as part of the posting. That's why I say I need to make sure we have the meeting. So when it goes through WebEx, it's scheduled. It has the links. The links are for the attendees who want to listen to the meeting.
Right.
There's links then for the panelists who are the ones who can discuss the meeting.
Right.
And that's clear.
Okay.
So that's that could be part of the posting. I just need to have that information so I can set that up.
All right. Does that sound right, everybody? Oh God, I'm so tired.
Yes.
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 Marie,
Applicants
we'll
have
figure
panelists.
something out. You know where I am. I sit at my desk a block away.
Well, we have to get 2 tin cans, right? On a string.
I walked by last night. The lights were on. Were you in there?
I don't even know where I was 2 minutes ago.
Because I walked past the office after I went to the mailbox yesterday, and I let the lights run. I said, "Is she in there at this hour?" And what the hell? All right. Anything else? Anybody? Hello?
Good night.
No.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for this new adventure in living. If you've got ideas, let me know.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Maria.
Today is day 230 of stay at home, work from home.
Oh my gosh.
230 days of this.
Okay.
All right. Marie,
Do you have a motion to close?
no, somebody make a motion to close.
I make a motion to close.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Anybody who wants to keep meeting, vote no.
But if Mariana is going to shut us up.
All right. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Tom, I have a question to you after everything is done. Because with this application is not going to be that easy. So my suggestion is to go really serious about the posting design.
Yes.
And the hours of operation, because many other things can just go easy. But those two things, if the hours is okay, the application fill out right, and was the posting was right, then we should just go ahead. And of course,
Bogdan, the next meeting is a short list compared to whatever, so we can get it. And it's
13 days. Okay, years before we had 11, so we were sitting until 12 o'clock at night, 11. So that's depends.
No, but the September one was going to be 45. So I mean, compared to September.
So compared to September, then they would sit till 4 o'clock in the morning.
But this one, it's just 11 new.
Yes.
One Fabien's is a change of operation, so that's probably they got a new board member.
Right.
Paloma, it looks like they're transferring the license to someone else.
Yes.
So that's existing.
Right.
And Privilege Lounge is doing a corporate change. They're probably adding a board member. And R. Hughes, I don't know, that says they're transferring a license. So there's already an existing license. Southside Pizza on Havermeyer Street, I don't know what that is. And then Esquina del Sabor on Grand Street. That looks like just a little restaurant. That looks like Manhattan Avenue. Maison Premier might be a problem. Artisanal ales, that's just a wine and beer.
Mm-hmm.
And 83 Viet is just a wine and beer. So,
right.
99 Franklin Street, I don't know where that is. It's near you.
Okay, 99 no, 99 Franklin Street. Where is 113 Franklin Street?
No, on my list for the November meeting.
On November meeting, yes.
That's the one we're dealing with, okay?
Okay, which number? What is the number?
Number 2.
Oh, number 2. Okay, I'm gonna check on that.
Authentic pierogi. You can tell me all about authentic pierogi.
The meeting's closed. The end of the meeting, so I'm going to close the record.
Then call me tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.